This is Gina J, and you're listening to the Chasing Dreams podcast with Aimee J.
Hi there, my name is Aimee J. Before we get on with the show, I wanted to explain a few things. Some of the initial episodes of Chasing Dreams was originally part of my other show, Aimee J Live, over at AimeeJ21.com. Because of that, this episode you're listening to right now may mention a different episode number, and you may hear reference to Aimee J Live. Don't let that confuse you. This is episode number 1 of Chasing Dreams. And now, on with the show.
Welcome to Chasing Dreams podcast with Aimee J. Aimee believes that realizing a life without regrets is achieved by taking chances, chasing your dreams, making moves, and overcoming your doubts. The Chasing Dreams podcast will help you overcome life's obstacles, believe in your potential, and inspire you to face your fears. And now here's the woman who is passionately pursuing her dreams, Aimee J.
Hello, this is Aimee J Live coming to you with episode number 6, and today we are talking about running, the who, what, where, why, when, hows of running. And to help me bring that to you, my little sister Gina J is joining me in the studio today, and we're going to just talk about it and kind of answer some questions hopefully that you may have had. I know these are some questions I had when I first started doing it, and hopefully it'll help you out. Today is a snow day, and it's very exciting, not only because it's filled with white beautifulness outside, but I have a snow day as well, and so does my sister Gina J, who is with me today. So that means that we get to do a special podcast of just us, and we're excited about it. This is Gina's first podcast, so she's excited also.
Hello.
Gina just started her first job, and so it's also exciting because her first job just started, and already she has a snow day. So I'm not sure where the fairness is in that.
It's okay.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm sure you're not complaining about it.
Definitely not complaining.
But shout out to all those who are unfortunately still have to go into work, especially the city employees, my friends down at the courthouse who the courthouse didn't close. Drive safe. It's crazy out there. And most importantly, here's a PSA, public service announcement. And I'm sure Gina can agree because she's been on the roads when it's been snow out there. Clean off your car. I mean, you just clean off the top, clean off the hood, clean off the trunk, if you have a trunk area, because it's dangerous.
Very dangerous.
I mean, you have to do it because, okay, so here's what happened. It's story time. A few years ago, I was driving my first car, Black Camry, 2000, very exciting, Blackbird, and we were at a red light. I was in the leftmost lane, trying to go left, of course, waiting, and it was snow and had been coming down, and this red van, and this is how crazy it was, I didn't get a license plate, but this red van had not cleared off the top of its top, and it flew by, went through the yellow light, and the snow flew off and hit my car. And I was like, what just happened? I didn't even realize what was happening because the car shook. And I was like, what? What's going on? And I look up, and this van is flying through the light. And then I'm waiting. I didn't get out of the car to check then, but I did pull over, and I looked, and there's a dent in the side of my car.
Oh, no.
It's ridiculous. There was a dent. And Gina knows, I was devastated. I was so mad. Now, my car at that point was probably 11 years old or something like that. So it's seen its age, but it doesn't mean it has to be disrespected like that.
Right.
When sheets of snow go flying off on the highway, it's dangerous. So please do everyone and yourself a favor and clean off your car. Especially clean off the car so it doesn't fall in front of you. You know, if you brake suddenly, that snow is going to fall in front of your windshield. And then you're not going to be able to see, and you could cause an accident.
Have a safe snow day.
Yes, have a safe snow day. Those on the East Coast, snow is going to be going, I think, to mid-afternoon. So Stay in if you don't have to go, and if you have to go, be safe. That's pretty much all I have to say about that.
And the podcast is done.
That would be the shortest podcast. What was that, like 4 minutes or something?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, so there'd be like a 3-4 minute podcast. You guys would love that. But that is not what we're doing today. I roped Gina in under the guise of talking about snow, and then told her, well, Gina, I want to talk about running.
What? I love running.
Gina is not she's not a professional athlete or a runner. Don't be offended by that.
How dare you?
Don't be offended by that. You would say that too if I hadn't said it first.
It's true.
You would have.
I wouldn't say that. I would not.
You would have yelled at me like, why would you say that?
I am a wannabe.
She's a wannabe runner. And so anytime I tell Gina, man, you are amazing at running.
I don't believe it.
Right.
I don't take compliments well.
I'm just saying. She can run. She's been running since when? How long have you been running?
Since I was a kid.
But no. Okay, yes.
Just kidding. I started running in 2003.
Right. And so this is 2013 now. Okay, that's 10 years. And now have you been running every year consistently like
Probably
that?
not consistently, but I try to do at least 1 or 2 5Ks a year.
Okay, and that's still pretty impressive. A 5K, for those who don't know, is what,
3.1 miles.
3.1 miles. And now
Get that 0.1 in.
you got to respect the 0.1 because that is something. And if you're a runner, you understand you got to respect the 0.1. 3.1 miles. That's twice a year. That's still pretty impressive. Gina was in college at the time she started running. So what made you start running though?
So back in 2003, I was in undergrad at UMBC, and my roommate, Ashna, she ran the Baltimore Marathon, and she was a big runner. So she had run all her life. And so a bunch of us went, and we decided to go down to downtown Baltimore and watch her in the race. And we went to and so a marathon is 26.2 miles. So we would meet her at different checkpoints and cheer her on. And I just remember seeing her at the finish line, and she looked amazing.
She was exhausted. Yeah.
Exhausted, but she just looked amazing. And in my head, I was thinking, I want to do something like that. I didn't want to do a marathon, but I wanted to start running. And
it was actually kind of inspiring when you're in that environment and you see all these people are running. And a Baltimore Marathon is more than just the marathon, right? There's a lot more things going on.
Oh yeah. What do you mean?
There's a half marathon.
Oh, right. Yes.
There's a relay.
Yes. It was the Baltimore Running Festival. So at the Baltimore Running Festival, it's usually in October, and it's in Baltimore City, and they have the Baltimore Half Marathon, the Baltimore Marathon. They have a relay, which you can do with 4 people. And so you would run about 6 to 7 miles per leg, and then you would have the 5K.
So for the relay, 26.2 miles is covered by 4 different people.
Correct.
And so you would run 6 miles, I would run 6 miles, and
Correct.
someone else would do what someone else would do.
Right.
Okay.
So it's the whole environment is very inspiring, and it's people of all ages. So you would see, young people, older people who of all athletic abilities. So
teenagers?
I think, I'm sure there were teenagers there.
I think there's an age limit, but I think there were teenagers.
But yes, and teenagers are more fit than most people. So it was just inspiring, and in my head, I was thinking, I want to do something like that. And that's when I just started running. And that summer I was in Connecticut for an internship, and I decided there was nothing really to do where I was. So in the evenings I would just go running, and I'd start out going out for 5 minutes, and then I would come home because I couldn't last. It was just so painful. And I then next day would go for 6 minutes, and then 7 minutes. And eventually I built up to about 18 minutes. And it was a great feeling. And when I came back to school after that summer, I used to run with my roommate and a friend of ours, and we would just go around the UMBC loop. And if you're from UMBC, you guys know what I'm talking about. But it was about a 2-mile loop. And then I ran my first 5K, which was oh my gosh, I forgot. Oh, the Race for the Cure in Baltimore City. And it is the Susan G. Komen race. And it is probably one of the most motivating races I've ever done in my life. And it was one of the most fun races. So, and that's when I just started running, and it became an everyday thing. I would run on the road. I'd run on the treadmill. It was great.
I mean, Gina ran at that point in time. I mean, she would do it however, and she got better and better.
But I was never running for speed. My goal was always just to finish. I was not looking for a certain time. I just wanted to see if I could make it to the finish line.
I mean, that's always a nice goal, is to be able to just say you finished a race. And she had done that probably for a while, and I never really got into it. I was not running. I was not into it. God bless all those who are runners and, put themselves out there like that and train the way they train. And I was very impressed with all of that. And I think Gina got us to do a couple 5Ks or so.
Yeah, I used to always ask everybody around me if they wanted to run or if they wanted to come and just run at our local park. And so for a while, my sisters and a couple of our cousins and friends, we used to go in the mornings to the park and we would run together just around the like little loop path that they had there. And we started doing the turkey trots and Thanksgiving, and it was a lot of fun. I just love that feeling when you finish. I mean, it was a different story when you're going up hills, but overall it was a good feeling.
I mean, you definitely have to pace yourself and run for you. Don't try to match someone else with that. But in all fairness, I don't have the legs or feet for running. I injured myself in like 2003 or so, doing something stupid and crazy, but at the time made sense. But I have feet issues because of that. So for me, running is actually kind of difficult. And so if you ever have an issue, you should always see a PT, a physical therapist, get it checked out, take care of yourself for that. But I always saw myself as kind of limited because of that. But I wanted to run. And I think, what was it? When did we, was it 2 years ago? 3 years ago when we started the train with feet first, or
right.
Feet?
It was about 2 years ago.
2 years ago. So 2 years ago, I got tired of it because I could never really run straight and just not. So Gina had found this place in Reisterstown, Maryland, Fleet Feet. They had this running program, and they did this program, and it was basically a run walk. Meaning you run for a little bit and then you walk for a little bit. You run for a little bit and you walk for a little bit. And I was usually told I couldn't just run. So I thought, well, no, why don't I try this? And so I signed up. Gina joined me as support. And we just trained. And they had some fantastic coaches there. And, this is the one here, and there's others in Maryland, and there's plenty all across the U.S., you could find it probably on active.com maybe, or
right. And that's the thing about running. You don't have to, when I say I like to say I'm a runner, it doesn't mean that I go out and run 10 miles all at once. You kind of have to listen to your body. And I think a lot of people are sometimes thinking, well, how do I just go out and run? And I think it's one of those things where you just have to go out and do it. I wasn't able to run 1 mile on my first time. Sometimes I still have problems running 1 mile. It gets tiring. I think it's a matter of heart. And if you just lace up your running shoes and go out and do it, I think you kind of learn how to run, what the best form is for you, and how much you can handle. And I think what Aimee was saying about interval running, which is when you, for example, you could run 1 minute, walk 1 minute, run 1 minute, walk 1 minute. I think that's just as good as running the whole time. At the end, you're still going to make it to the same finish line. So.
And I think that's key is Gina was able to run on her own. And there's so many things online, YouTube, or you could books. You could just do it yourself. Me personally, because of my injuries, it was easier for me to train with someone, with a running coach, and with a group. And I did better with that. And not to say you need it, because sometimes there are fees and sometimes there aren't, depending on where you go. If you join a running club, you can find these things. For me, I needed a running club or something like that. Gina was able to do it on her own. Both of us, though, love running. I never thought I'd ever say that, honestly. I didn't think I'd ever say.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yes. I enjoy running. We were able to do that. So we started that 2 years ago. And then last year, 2012, for my birthday, I wanted to run a half marathon. And I think I surprised myself, but I think I also surprised our other sister, Aimee J, with the fact that I wanted to do a half marathon. Jamie also is of my mindset, we're not really runners. But I said, because Jamie and I are twins, we share a birthday, and I said, I want to do this for our birthday.
And Jamie is one of those people who, she used to say she would only run if somebody was chasing her. So she just didn't want to run. But she was a trooper, because Jamie also, she used to come with us when we used to go to the park and run. And I mean, no matter what, it's a good way of exercising.
She did it, and she trained for it. We all trained for it. We trained for like 4 months. Our cousin Asha, she joined us. God bless her. She trained with us. Our other cousin trained as well. Unfortunately wasn't able to join us for the actual run itself, but trained with us. We had a great time. It was different. We finished in a very good, for me, being injured, doing a run walk, 3 hours, 20 minutes, I'm happy.
That's great. I mean, when you're running, you kind of have to look at what your goal is. If you're looking to make a certain time, then that's great. I think there are plenty of people out there. But if you're also just looking to finish, then 3 hours, 20 minutes is wonderful. If you finished in an hour, that's amazing.
It works for me because my goal, you should always have a goal for yourself, whatever it is. If it's a certain pace, if it's a certain distance, if it's a certain time. For me, mine was I need to finish before everyone else, and
before they start cleaning up.
And under 4 hours would be great. And so,
and you did it,
and I did it.
Fantastic.
So it was kudos to me and all those who were actually there, because it was really cool. Everyone is so supportive. You will not find more supportive people than people who run.
Runners are nice people.
Runners are fantastic motivators.
Yes.
They're just hands down. They don't want to see you fail. They want you to do what you're doing.
Yes, definitely.
I mean, and even if a runner isn't running with you, but sees you, they're very encouraging. And chances are, if you see someone and they're rooting for you as they're walking by, they might be a runner. Probably.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I see people, even in this cold weather, there's probably someone running outside. Not me.
Not me.
No, I won't do it. It's snowing.
Today's a treadmill kind of day.
It just seems kind of dangerous to be doing that, but kudos to you, those who do it. The point is, running is a feasible thing for anybody in any condition. Listen, if I can run, and seriously, my feet injuries, I'm not supposed to run. If I can do it, you can do it.
I would say,
yes,
or caveat that with, talk to your doctor.
Oh yeah, please.
Or your physical trainer or whomever, and talk to them before you start running. Because if you do have an injury, or if you feel like you have an injury, it is possible that running can make it worse. So yes, anybody can definitely run, but you have to do it. Be smart about it, I guess, and prepare yourself.
As with all things exercise related.
Yes.
Get your doctor's permission first. Although I will say, if you're looking for something motivating, one motivating thing was this YouTube video called Ben Does Life. I think that's what it's called. And this gentleman, Ben, he started off slowly. He started running slowly. He did I think 10 minutes one day, and then the next day he did 10 minutes again until he could get to 15, and then he built it and built it and built it. It's a great YouTube video. The link will be in the post on the website. You can check it out, and it's very motivating to see how far he's come. He not only began running, he was initially obese. Don't know technically if he's still obese. He doesn't look it. He looks very healthy. He's lost
a lot of weight.
Significant amount of weight. And this is through hard work, dedication, and just, it's really motivating. You definitely should check the video out to see what he's done. And he's turned his life around with this, and he got his family into running with him, which is actually really cool. And in a sense, Gina got me and Jamie to start running. It kind of became a family thing in that sense. And we started running, like we just did the Jingle Bell not marathon.
Oh my.
That would have been a lot. The Jingle Bell run a few days ago, which was a lot of fun.
It was a 5K.
It was a 5K, but you have jingle bells on your shoes or something, and everyone was dressed up.
Everyone was dressed up in... The Jingle Bell run is... it's... I think sponsored by the Arthritis Foundation. So all proceeds go to the Arthritis Foundation. And it was great because you probably heard of the Jingle Bell Run, or if you haven't, they give out jingle bells to everybody. So you can tie them on your shoes, you can tie them around your neck. And so when you're running, it kind of sounds like Santa's sleigh ride is coming. And it's really motivating. It's a lot of fun. And people dress up like Santa. They dress up like reindeers. They dress up like elves. And that's the thing about running. I think nowadays there's a lot of races that are themed races. So they have the color runs and the glow-in-the-dark runs. And that's the nice thing. You know, running should be fun. It shouldn't be kind of, I guess... Torture. Which at times it is, but at the end...
Push through.
Yeah, push through. You feel good at the end.
So, we kind of talked about the things that you should probably have when you run. Please don't run in... And this is a hard-learned life lesson. Do not run in Timberland boots. Don't do it.
Are you speaking off of experience?
I may have injured my feet because I ran in Timberland boots. And I say this not because it's funny. It's quite painful. But I got tendinitis because of this. And this story is it wasn't because I was trying to be dumb or anything like that. It was a dumb thing. All right. It was a dumb thing. But at the time, I was a counselor for a group of students who had to be somewhere by a certain time, and they weren't going to make it.
It was for the children.
It was for the children. They wouldn't have made it unless they ran across campus. Okay? And the thing is, they could not... A counselor had to be with them at all times, at least in going to class and things like that. And I was head counselor, and we were at lunch, and they were trying to get there, and I thought it would be nice to allow my other counselors to finish their lunch, and I said I would go with them. You know what? It's what happened. And I sacrificed myself and ran with them. And so what happened was... they got there on time. Okay, so even in Timberland boots, I could run. But I was limping by the end of it, and that was not fun. I do not recommend anyone run in Timberland boots.
Aimee J, so selfless.
Yeah, I know.
So for the people.
I do it all for the kids.
For the children.
Yes, well, 10 years later, I'm still feeling the effects of it. So the point is, don't do that.
But also, at the same time, I would say, once you start running, there are a couple things I feel like people should do. And one of them is buy good running shoes.
That it is.
As in, you might not want to go to your local like Sports Authority or any of those types of stores and just buy shoes by yourself. I would say go to an actual running store and get fitted for shoes. And you will thank yourself. What they do is when you go, I'll just say this really quickly. When you go to a running store, they will watch you run. They will measure your feet properly. They will look at your feet, and they will also see how you run so that they can then choose the right shoe for you. And these are people who have had years of experience. And it'll be a fun experience for you as well. And it's just, they will probably give you running shoes that might be a half size big for you, but in the end, it'll make a big difference.
In fairness, okay, and full disclosure, yes, running shoes may seem more pricey. However, think of it as an investment, okay? Because the rule, I believe, is every
500 miles, I believe.
Yeah, or 6 months or something like that.
You should be changing your running shoes.
And you should. Okay? What you put on your feet and when you run is, think of it as having the proper equipment. It's just like how you should have a helmet when you play football, how you need a helmet when you're batting in baseball. There are things that you just need to have, and right shoes is one of them. And you will feel the difference. Rather than going to your local Target and getting shoes that aren't right, may not support you where that needs to, and there are so many sites online that have local stores. Charm City Run, Fleet Feet, Feet First,
or just even go to runnersworld.com.
They have a list of places.
They have a list of places, and then you can also just look up what type of gear you should get. Once you start getting into running, you don't need all of this when you go on your first run. Don't think that you have to have every single piece of equipment just to get out and run. If anything, just go out and run, just do it. So,
well, and the road isn't the only place you can run. I mean, you can run on the road. There are rules to the road. Don't run in the middle of the road. But you can run on parks.
Right. I think the best places to run are places that are safe, first of all. That's the most important thing. You can always Google what are road running etiquette and how you should always face cars when you run, meaning not facing cars.
Run against traffic.
Run against traffic. Yes. Sorry. That came off wrong. Run against traffic. But if you don't feel comfortable doing that, go to your local park, go to your local gym and run on the treadmill. I think both are really good options.
Those are things to do. And from what Gina was saying, there are rules to running. So, I mean, unspoken rules, I guess, things that you probably should do. One, stay to your right when you run. If there's someone ahead of you and you're running faster than them, then you say something like on your left or something like that, and go around them, of course.
Right.
Don't.
And if you're listening to music, which is totally fine because I always listen to music, make sure that it's just soft enough that you know what's going on around you.
Be aware of your surroundings. Yeah, don't let the music overwhelm. You need to be able to hear someone say on the left or honk or wherever you're running, do something. So keep that kind of stuff in mind. And don't, if you're running in a group, please try to keep it to 2 people, across. Don't run where you take up the whole trail, because that's just rude.
Right.
There are people running on the other side.
Share
the road. Share the trail. Be nice about it. Those are very, very important things. And you know what? However long you run, that's fine. If you can only run 5 minutes, good for you. Good for you for getting up and running, because that's 5 more minutes than the person sitting on the couch ran.
True.
It really is. Yeah. And if you do 5 minutes today and you do 5 minutes tomorrow, and then the next day you do 6 minutes, that's 6 minutes. I mean, running isn't something that happens overnight where you become a running sensation. Like all things, it takes work. So hopefully you guys will put some effort into that. Now, typically, the ideal numbers. These are things that people seem to want to know. Ideal numbers. What's your goal for a mile? What would you like to run?
You mean how long would I like?
How fast would you like 1 mile to be?
In my perfect world, and when I dream, I would love to be an 8.5 to 9 minute mile. My reality is more of a 10-minute mile.
Which is really good. It's still really good. I think ideally, if you're trying out for the FBI, I don't know what the military is, but if you try out for the FBI, I think they want something around a 12-minute mile. So, hey, you should try out for the FBI. Maybe. No?
No.
They don't.
I like what
You like what you do?
I like what I do.
Well, you could, though. That's the point.
Right.
And so,
there are options.
most people measure things around a mile and how fast you run a mile. And so, 9 minute, 10 minute, I've seen people run 6-minute miles.
Right. We know people, I mean, there are people out there that are running 4-minute miles, 5-minute miles.
Crazy times. But if you can only do a 17, 20-minute mile or something like that,
it's still great. You're still doing a mile.
There is no shame in your game. Okay? At least you're doing it. So don't let that stop you, because you're making moves. You're making more moves than other people. And I'm, for one, am proud of you for that. And I hope you keep it up. And so, I guess we talked about the why. We talked about the how. What about when? The best time to run?
Anytime.
It's always a good time to run. Now, I would say if you're running at night,
wear a reflector vest.
Wear something that will...
Anything that, for example, your shoes sometimes have those reflectors on it, or you can have a flashlight. Some people run with the headlamp against their head.
Yeah, or a jacket with reflectors on it. But cars and people need to be able to see you some way, shape, or form. So have reflectors, take proper precautions. Don't just be a goofball and run in black clothes. Don't do that at night. Right? Run in bright colors. If you got neon, wear neon.
Just be safe about it. Yeah. And anytime really is a good time to run.
Some people will run in rain. Like I said, some people are running now in snow. And it's cold weather, it's fine. What do you do in cold weather when you run?
So if you're running outside, there is a rule or an unspoken rule or guidelines, I guess, that you should dress for the weather so that it's 10 degrees above what the weather is. So for example, if it's 50 degrees outside now, then you should dress for 60 degrees because your body's going to start to heat up when you start running. So what I like to do, and you can look up online for different guidelines of what to wear. When it's, for example, at the Jingle Bell Run, it was 30 degrees. So I was dressing for about 40 degrees. I wore 2 pairs of running tights and I had on running socks. And running socks are different than regular cotton socks because they are part of that group of types of fabrics that wick away sweat. And I had on 3 layers, a tank top, a short sleeve running shirt, a long sleeve running shirt, and a hoodie. But all 3 of those were, and I built up to this stuff. I didn't go out and buy all of this stuff, but they were all sweat wicking clothes, but also I guess whatever fabric that Under Armour and Champion and all of those companies use, therefore keeping in and insulating the heat because it's so cold outside.
I mean, the point...
And gloves.
Yes.
And and a headband that covered my ears. I get very cold very fast. So.
You have to do whatever's best for you. I will say this. The key to wearing proper clothes, avoid cotton.
One of our running groups had a saying, and it was, "Cotton is rotten and should be forgotten."
And it's true. And it's because it's not good when you're running and sweating. And
the reason being is, we all have cotton shirts, and there are many days where I still run in my t-shirts because I don't own a lot of fancy fabrics. But the reason people don't want you to run in cotton is because when you sweat, the shirt absorbs all of that and it just gets heavier. So it becomes a bit cumbersome when you're running with that added weight.
So avoid that. If you ever go into a running store, you'll see all the different things that they have. Not just clothes, but accessories. There's belts that you can keep stuff in. There's headgear that you can have, shell packs if you're doing long runs. Look into it. Everything we're saying is just basic stuff. We're not experts, anything like that. We're wannabe runners who enjoy it now. But it's definitely something, there's so many things. Runner's World, active.com. Check all those places out because they have lots of stuff. You know what? we definitely should talk about running songs.
I love running songs.
What's your number one running song?
That's pretty hard. I personally cannot come up with my number one, but I like running songs that are probably different than what people would, if you knew me, you'd probably not expect these of me. But I like running songs that usually are very fast paced. They're usually 140 beats per minute or more. Mm-hmm. So I guess my top four are, one is by Linkin Park. It's called Bleed It Out. I don't know what the song is about, but it gets you going. Number two is by Fort Minor. It's called Remember the Name. And number three is Black Eyed Peas, Pump It. And then...
Now, see, okay.
Oh, okay.
Pump It, I like their second version of Pump It. Not their first one, the remix one. Pump It Harder? Pump It More? What is it?
I think it's Pump It Harder.
Pump It Harder, I think. That one really... I would go with Pump It Harder than... Pump It, but yes, go on. I'm sorry.
And then, my fourth one is by my favorite Beyonce, Get Me Bodied. And you know, it doesn't have to, this is just my personal. I've also run to very slow songs because that's just how I felt. But I think for a lot of people love like Eminem, Lose Yourself. They like Rocky, the theme from Rocky. They like Survivor.
All American Rejects Move Along is also a popular one.
That's a good one.
Enter the Sandman by Metallica. That one works for me. I'm with Gina. Bleed It Out by Linkin Park really gets me going, and I'll put that as one of my power songs. A power song is one of those songs where when you're getting really tired and you need just something to push you through, that's where these top songs that we're talking about come from. Those are the songs that really get you. Kanye West's Stronger.
Oh, that's a good one.
That one.
Actually, a lot of Kanye West from personally, a lot of his older stuff from Graduation, that album, that's pretty good. Or College Registration, that album's pretty good too.
There's just actually a lot. And I'll put a list of some top power songs that people have recommended or I've seen online that...
I like a lot of Pitbull.
The Fighter by...
Christina Aguilera.
That one, and also The Fighter by Gym Class Heroes.
Oh, I do like that
with
one.
With Ryan Tedder. That one was good. Stronger, Kelly Clarkson. That one's hot.
Yes.
That one gets you going. So there's so many songs. And you might have a song that works for you. Definitely put that on. And there's actually apps that can help track your time and do all these things.
And if you just... Before the apps, if you don't feel like making a playlist, you can always go on Pandora or Spotify, download the app, and they have plenty of stations that have running music or just high beat cardio music or low beat cardio music.
Whatever your
preference. In regards to running apps, there's a ton, and a couple of ones that I used in the past and I really like. One of my favorites is the Nike Plus app. It's there for Apple and Android, and it is great because you can customize it to the type of road you're running on, whether it's the treadmill, outside, the beach, road running, trail running, and then it has a GPS on there, so it accurately tells you how much you've run. And then it will also tell you how many calories you've burned because you can put in your own personal stats, your height, your weight, and all of that good stuff. So Nike Plus is one, and it's free. We always love a free app here.
Yes.
And that is one of the best ones. Another really, really good one is called the Couch to 5K, which is probably a great one for beginning runners. It's a great one for runners who haven't run in a while or just trying to get back into it. And so it tells you each day how much to run, and then kind of does an interval type of running things so that okay, I'm going to run for 90 seconds. Whoa, 90 minutes. For 90 seconds, and then you're going to walk for 30 seconds.
Going.
Right. And then it's a great way of building yourself back into running a 5K.
Yeah. Runkeeper is another one. Map My Run. is another one. There's so many. Just check online. And it's not that you need these, but they're helpful. They're helpful. The other thing that's helpful is running with someone. Getting a friend to run with you, or if you run by yourself, things like Nike Plus or Runkeeper, they have an online portion where you can kind of challenge your friends or make new friends that you can run with. And there's running clubs you can join.
Right. And that's the great thing about running. One, I always find it to be one of the reasons why I like it so much is because it's very, very easy to have access to. All I need is really a pair of running shoes. The gear comes later in terms of the clothes, but everyone has gym clothes at home. So really it's just running shoes and I can do it anywhere. You can be anywhere and just run. And I usually like running by myself, but I also love it when people like to come running with me, because you can talk and you can have fun, but you can also listen to your music at the same time.
It's just very relaxing and something you should check out.
And you can also, I would suggest if you are starting to run, like Aimee said, there are running societies. So our local county has a running society and they go running every Saturday at 7 a.m. And so it's a great way to just get into it. If you're shy about running or not sure if you want to do it by yourself, there are always people that are looking to run.
Yeah, and all the resources that we're talking about, like Runner's World or active.com and all that, they'll be on the site for you to check out. All those resources have links or ways to find running clubs or organizations you can run with or kind of learn about and help you with. And
if you want, you can also be like me, where I do this probably not so smart thing where I just sign up for races that are 2 months away, and it kind of pushes me to train myself, because one big thing is that you can never, ever cram for a race. You can't sign up for a race this weekend and just expect to be able to do it, because you can really injure yourself.
Please don't do that. Don't sign up for a marathon, maybe a 5K if you've been running, but try not to sign up for like a marathon, a half marathon, a 10K,
but if you want
like
to motivate yourself. But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Sign up for them, but don't sign up for them the week before.
Right.
And then expect to not hurt yourself.
Correct.
Because you will.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I think one thing that we have not mentioned throughout this that is key, hydration. Water is your friend.
Water is definitely your friend. There is a way you kind of you'll figure out when you start running how to listen to your body when you're thirsty. You don't want to go straight out and drink a ton of water, but you also don't want to not drink any water because you might dehydrate. And with that being said, I would suggest finding ways to like learning different running foods. I don't like to eat before I run because I get a little bit sick. But if it's a long run, then I sometimes like to eat a banana beforehand, or peanut butter.
Whereas for me,
banana and peanut butter.
Or both.
Yes.
Whereas for me, I need to have a little something before I run. So you learn your...
Aimee likes to eat a steak before she runs.
A big juicy steak.
Just kidding. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Or do that and let us know how it goes.
Don't do that.
On the next.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. I'm going to get emails from people like, I tried it and it was not a good idea.
All right, let me know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You can tweet Gina at heidaka.com. Or no, Heidaka on Twitter. You can let her know there.
Yes. And don't be offended if I don't write back, because I don't always check my Twitter.
She's not very good with the social media, really.
But that's for another podcast.
So, Gina, you have any last thoughts for people? Anything you would like to give them? If you have one thing to say to someone who is thinking about running, what would you say? You were going to do it right.
I would say I hate to take from our friends at Nike, and if you would like to sponsor Aimee J, I'm sure she wouldn't mind. But really, just do it, because the more you think about it, the more you might hype yourself out of it, if that actually makes sense. But I would say just go and do it. You might feel terrible while you're doing it, but when you finish, that feeling is something that I wish I could just bottle up and hold on to. I think running is I might not always be consistent, and there have been times where I've cheated on running and gone to boot camps and gone to the elliptical, and I've always come back to running. It is one of my true loves. So just have fun with it and just keep pushing yourself, and always have a good playlist and good running shoes. This is more than one last thought.
Let me wrap it up before Gina keeps going.
I could talk about running all day. I will say that. But yes, I won't.
She won't. The point is, this is just another way for you to make moves. So definitely don't let anyone or anything stop you, with doctor's permission, from running. It's something, don't let anybody talk you out of it. Don't overthink it. Just get out, put one foot in front of the other, and do your best. And whatever you do, know that it's better than what you didn't do before. Okay? So thanks for listening, and we will catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.
Bye.
And there you have it. That was Gina J of the J family, our youngest and our runner. And hopefully you guys learned something from this podcast, a little bit about running. As always, everything or most of what we talked about, all the links mentioned, will be on the website. You can find the podcast at iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn. Feel free to leave a rating. Feel free to leave some feedback, whatever you want to do. And just a reminder, it's not too late to finish any resolutions you may have put off. Or even if it's too late, make some steps towards it. Better a little bit than none, right? So make some moves, stay warm, and we will catch you on the next one.
Thank you so much for listening to Chasing Dreams. Aimee would love to connect with you and hear all about your pursuit of chasing your dreams. Connect with Aimee on Twitter at Aimee J 21. That's AIMEEJ 21. Or leave a comment on her website, chasingdreamshq.com. We hope you'll join Aimee next week, and until then, keep chasing.